Alrighty, good morning and welcome to the town meeting program. It's Wednesday, April the 22nd, which you know if you're hearing this on the radio, and now you know if you're listening to our archive online. This show is brought to you by Cordova Wireless Communications, your local cell phone provider, which provides your local talk program. So when it's time to talk, we can just sit down and have a talk. They're excellent supporters of local radio. We couldn't do much of anything that we do without their help, and very much appreciate that. I'll give you that reminder again that all of our programming we do on the COVID situation goes to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Cordova TV. And Robbie has been reminding me to remind you that if you'd like to get updates whenever we put new content up, in case something goes up that you didn't know was coming, the way to do that is to subscribe to the channel, which doesn't cost anything. And then once you have subscribed, there's a bell, a little button that looks like a bell that you can click, and that is you telling YouTube you want them to notify you anytime a new video goes on our channel. Now, of course, our videos, we use the word video loosely because there isn't anything to see other than a slide, with our beautiful logos, by the way. But we've decided to use YouTube for archiving even these audio programs just because it's a universal platform. Works on phones and tablets and computers, and pretty much any device connects to it very easily. So, hope that's helpful to you. Now, kind of the big deal here is that cloth face coverings are about to become mandatory. Something that quite a few people in the community have been pushing for with varying degrees of intensity. But what we're going to do to kind of cover that is go right to the source of the information and play you, because you may not have known that the city is going to start doing 2 briefings a week on their YouTube channel. You probably are aware of the Friday 4 p.m. briefings. They've added one now that also is going to happen on Tuesdays. And so if you missed the one yesterday, we're going to just play the audio from that, featuring the city manager for you here in its entirety, and then kind of go over it afterwards. So let's have a listen to what the city manager had to say yesterday at 4 p.m.
Good afternoon, Cordova, and welcome to this community update on our COVID response. I'm Helen Howarth, City Manager of Cordova, and today I'm going to share some information, a bit of updated information about some things that the city has been doing, including a new website, a new face covering rule that we're putting in place, a little discussion about a new collaboration we're doing with the Native Village of Vieques, and some medical and pharmacy updates. So hopefully you'll find this information informative and useful as we move through the rest of the day and week. So as of today, there's been 16 tests conducted on COVID, 0 positive results. Congratulations all. There are 15 negative tests and still 1 awaiting results. So we'll obviously keep you updated on that as we get additional information. We have a testing capability of around 920 tests. So we are definitely getting close to the point where we'll be able to do more widespread testing. And remember, while testing is an important tool in stopping the spread of coronavirus, the medical response team here in Cordova would like to reiterate that social distancing is still the #1 method for containing the spread of COVID. So keep up the good work in that regard. On new announcements, I'm excited to share that we have a new website. And for those of you who've been tracking our information we've been sharing on our city website, it's been a little bit difficult to find and navigate. So we took that into consideration and created a new website which is reached by the URL covid19.cityofcordova.net, or you can also go to our cityofcordova.net website and click on the bar that says COVID-19. And on that site, you're going to find a lot of really great information all in one place, easily accessible, one-stop shop. And we know this is something you guys have been looking for and asking for. So we encourage you to go to that site, take a look, and hopefully we'll be able to answer a lot of questions that you might have. Again, the website is covid19.cityofcordova.net. We have a new rule going into effect this Thursday, the 23rd of April at 8 a.m. All individuals in Cordova must wear a mask, bandana, or other type of protective face covering that covers their nose and mouth when you're entering a building open to the public, in the harbor, on the docks and ramps, when pumping gas or using gas station amenities, or in any other settings where you can't maintain social distancing of at least 6 feet. So that new rule will go into effect this Thursday, and it hopefully will give all of you time to find yourself a mask or a face covering of some kind. This isn't to create a burden for the community, but to protect us as best as we can. And for those of you who don't have access to masks or some kind of face covering, bandanas work. There's a lot of useful information on the web on how to make your own in-home mask from items that you might have in your possession. And you can certainly reach out, and there are certainly masks available in various places. So we've done a lot of work on the harbor. Maybe it isn't yet visible. There aren't big bright signs up yet. There aren't a lot of the things that we've discussed, but that plan is on our COVID website. And over the next week, you're going to start to see a lot of things like hand sinks at the harbor, signage and everything. And we're really close to getting those all posted and up, but they're underway. And now that there's not freezing temperatures in our community at night, we're able to get water going, and those hand sinks will start to become visible around the harbor. On another note, we're having both a city council meeting and a special work session with the native village of Eak. And I'm really pleased that both the city and the village are collaborating not only on our COVID response, but on broader community needs and issues. As government entities within our community, we both have roles to play, and we're very excited to be working collaboratively. At the city council meeting, which will immediately follow the work session, the incident management team is going to provide an update on what's been happening over the past week regarding the city's COVID response. The incident management team will be there with their medical teams and others to answer questions that council will have and bring you up to date as well. The medical section of our incident management team would like to clarify some safety precautions regarding gloves and hand washing. So for best protection against coronavirus, it's recommended that you frequently wash your hands as opposed to wearing gloves while in public. The general thought is that wearing gloves can give people a false sense of security, that it increases your chances of cross-contamination unless you're replacing your gloves frequently. And you can still pick up the coronavirus with your gloves on. So be watchful of that. And please know that with bare hands, most people are more likely to wash their hands more frequently. And again, that's the number one thing that we can all do. The CCMC pharmacy would like us to know that they're open regular hours, but they're taking extra precautions to keep everyone safe. And they're asking customers to take a few precautionary steps to make services easier for everyone. They would love for you to call in your prescriptions ahead of time. They would like you to use the curbside service that they have. They have a hand sanitizer at their kiosk there that they'd like you to use before and after each transaction. And if possible, to use your credit card instead of cash. And if you have any questions, you can call the CCMC pharmacy at 424-8017. Another collaborative thing we're very excited about is that Cordova District Fishermen United, CDFU, has put together an information packet about the rules and safety precautions that must be taken in our Area E fishery. So it's being mailed to fishermen this week, and they're very happy to partner with us to help fishermen understand what both our city and the state requirements are going to be for safety. So some great news. Despite the pandemic, there's a lot going on in our community. Residents are taking care of each other and supporting local businesses during this challenging economic time. Businesses are also doing the same in the community. So, for example, the Reluctant Fisherman Inn is offering discounted lodging for those who need quarantine space. And our incident management team is working to lay out the best plans for a safe and comfortable quarantine space. So we're helping community businesses that have space available understand how they can do that. The inn, for instance, even put together a quarantine starter kit with utensils, coffee, snacks, and more, so it helps people find comfort in their space. And I want to thank them, as well as others in the community that are working really hard to keep this lovely town of ours safe. So let's all stick together and do what we can to help each other get through this. So in closing, I'd like to remind you that the city is here for you. The health and safety of our residents is our number one top priority. And we're working to ensure that you have the resources to stay safe and healthy. We're coordinating with industry, with businesses, and our community to prepare and quickly address any challenges that may arise. Now, I just want to reinforce that we may not be able to work as fast as people would like to see us working, but we are working as hard as we possibly can. And I encourage you to keep the suggestions coming our way and help us be successful. I really, really want to reinforce all of the efforts of the incident management team. There's volunteers, there's city staff and others that are working really tirelessly to make sure that this COVID response is successful and we keep that virus out of our town. The next City of Cordova update is scheduled for Wednesday. Radio updates are broadcast at 1, 5, and 8 o'clock on KCDV FM 100.9 and KLAM AM at 1450. And please do listen into the City Council meeting on YouTube on the City of Cordova, Alaska page. So again, visit our new website. Let us know if you would like other information on there. We're happy to provide updates. City of Cordova website, you can go to cityofcordova.net and click on the link, or go directly to covid19.cityofcordova.net for information on our city's response. Thank you so much for tuning in. We look forward to sharing more information over the course of the week.
All right, so that was the report from the city manager as shared yesterday at 4 p.m. And again, the city is going to begin doing 4 p.m. briefings on Fridays and Tuesdays. Now, they've been doing them on Fridays for a while. They're adding a Tuesday briefing through about mid-May, and then we'll kind of reevaluate and see if they feel like that needs to continue or not at that point. Emphasize again that this afternoon, at noon actually, today at noon, 2 different meetings, a joint work session between the city and Village of Eyak Tribal Council, City Council and the Tribal Council. And then that'll be followed by the regular scheduled city special meeting where we're going to get the latest, as the city manager said, from the incident management team, everything they've been working on. There are a number of letters that are part of the record, and if you want to, I don't think they're going to read them, but they're on the agenda. And if you want to look at that agenda, you can find it on the city website, cityofcordova.net, and be able to read the letters and see what they're planning to talk about. And, you know, the meeting packet is on there. So you'll be looking for the Wednesday, April 22nd agendas and packets on the city website. Now, to review, we will go to news release number 20 from the city, and some of this is material the city manager covered in that briefing Some of it isn't. So, and the stuff that we're going to make redundant in reading this out for you is the most important of the content. And this, again, is a document that you can get from the city website if you would like to be able to read it. News release number 20. And a kind of, again, the big headline is the new Emergency Rule 6 having to do with face coverings. On Tuesday, April 21st, Cordova City Manager Helen Howarth signed into effect a new emergency rule. Effective tomorrow, Thursday the 23rd at 8 a.m., all individuals in Cordova must wear a mask, bandana, or other type of protective cloth covering over the nose and mouth when entering a building open to the public, while in the harbor, on the docks and or ramps, when pumping gas or using gas station amenities, and in any other settings where social distancing of at least 6 feet is not possible. Now, there are some exceptions to this that Helen didn't mention. Individuals under the age of 4, individuals who have trouble breathing, and individuals with a medical condition that prevents them from wearing a facial covering are exempt from this rule. I know some folks, for example, who are actual diagnosed claustrophobic, which is an example, sometimes. I don't know technically if that qualifies it, but that's an example of something, of a condition that could prevent that, which is not to say anybody should just, go, oh, well, I'm claustrophobic, so I'm not, it would have to be the real deal. If you wanted to be exempt from the penalties that go from breaking city health rules, and remember, there are penalties for it. You break it at the city level, there are fines, and, who wants that? This also says all individuals alone in a space requiring facial coverings under this rule are not required to wear a covering unless and until another person outside that person's household arrives at their location. Now, again, if you want to read this and digest it in print, you can get it from the city website, cityofcordova.net. Regarding the new COVID-19 dashboard, the City of Cordova COVID-19 Incident Management Team is excited to announce the launch of its new Cordova COVID-19 dashboard at covid19.cityofcordova.net. And you can also get to it, by the way, by just going to cityofcordova.net if that's easier. This mobile-friendly platform is filled with easy-to-find information on the city's response, testing numbers, resources for citizens and businesses, quick reference guides, forms, mandates, FAQs, infographics, and more. It's easily searchable. It's multilingual and search engine optimized. Kathy Renfelt told us about this part yesterday or the day before, I can't remember, but how this new website can be automatically translated for you if English is not your favorite language. It's also a one-stop shop for coronavirus information and will be updated regularly with items relevant to Cordova. Responsive, cross-platform digital mutual aid agreement forms will also be coming soon to the site, meaning that if you don't want to print one of these forms and fill it out by hand and scan it and email it to somebody, there will be forms that you can actually fill in on a phone or a tablet or a computer or whatever. So I know they were pretty excited about making that easier. Regarding testing, as of April 21st, there had been 16 COVID-19 tests conducted with 0 positive results and 1 test awaiting results. Local healthcare providers have the capacity now to test approximately 920 people in Cordova. The new Abbott rapid testing units are for use with patients that are symptomatic only and not approved yet for asymptomatic use. Additional testing supplies have been requested. Your local healthcare provider will order testing, so you still can't get a test unless a doctor says you need one. While testing is an important tool in stopping the spread of the virus, your Cordova medical folks would like to reiterate that social distancing is still the number one method for containing the spread of COVID-19. That reminds me, let's go over among ourselves again that the new face covering rule, while arguably helpful, is not a substitute for staying home or social distancing. You kind of see this percolating a little bit, as people chat with each other. They're like, oh, now that masks are a thing, I don't have to worry as much about staying home or social distancing because masks will make everything safer. No. Nobody with intelligence in this thing, and I'm talking about doctors and scientists and so forth, nobody is saying that a cloth face covering mandate means that anybody should relax their efforts to stay home and social distance. The masks are only going to make a difference. They're only going to help if those other primary ways of avoiding the spread of the virus continue to be maintained. So don't think because you have a mask on that it means, oh, well, okay, now I can just go out more often. Or, oh, now I can be closer to other people that are not in my household because the mask will make it so I don't have to do those things. That's absolutely not the case. You still stay at home and social distance as if you were not wearing a mask, and you just add the mask as a bonus. But don't alter any of the other behaviors. That's really important because what will happen is if everybody starts thinking it's safe to just go back to normal because of masks being out there, then cases spike and everything gets shut down again. So we want to keep that curve flat. Now, let's go over, even though Helen talked about this, because it comes from our medical folks, this business with gloves and hand washing, the incident management team's medical section would like to clarify some safety precautions regarding gloves and washing your hands. For the best protection against coronavirus, say the experts, it's recommended to frequently wash your hands as opposed to wearing gloves while in public for several reasons. First off, they give a false sense of security. People start thinking, I'm wearing gloves, therefore I'm safe. Actually, wearing gloves wrongly can increase your chances of cross-contamination because you can still pick up coronavirus with the gloves. You won't get it on your hands if you have gloves on, but it'll be sitting there on your gloves. And then if you touch your face with the gloves on or touch any stuff at a place you are with the gloves on, you can be spreading the contamination to others and infect yourself. So what the experts are saying is with bare hands, people are more prone to frequent washing of hands before touching anything else. Now, that's not to say that people that want to wear gloves or that know how to, and there are people, who have made videos even locally about how to use gloves more effectively, but the medical folks, the medical experts are concerned that as with the masks, that if people don't wear masks properly, if they don't use gloves properly, it can actually make things worse. And I mean, if we're going to believe anybody in the middle of this thing, doctors seem like the right ones. Moving on to harbor and airport plans. The city incident management team has been hard at work developing and executing port of entry plans to educate users and mitigate risks to the community. They've published a working harbor COVID operations plan, which is available for community review on the website. Some signage is already in place at the harbor, and more will be installed soon at all entrances. Water is now being turned on, and hand washing stations will be installed on the ramps soon. Signage is also posted prominently at the airport, and a group of volunteers who are now part of the incident management team structure are greeting all arrivals with information on local and state rules and mandates, as well as information on resources while in quarantine, and they're offering personal protective equipment. So that worked great. Volunteers said, we need to get this done. Incident management team reached out. Now it's all official and organized and taking no prisoners. Well done. Moving along to the concept of keeping Cordova informed. That website again. The new user-friendly webpage and online information hub for Cordova's COVID-19 information, covid19.cityofcordova.net. That'll have all the latest information on Cordova's response, state and federal mandates, guidelines, best practices. If you're a fisherman and want to see what fishermen need to know, there's a fisherman button. If you're feeling sick, there's a sick person button, that kind of thing. And again, it translates by itself, depending on how you have your device set. Also, the IMT is working to translate all official posted signs and daily releases to at least Spanish and Tagalog. And the PIO team has reached out to processors to ensure that translations of key information are available in all needed languages to keep their staff informed of COVID-19 mandates, guidelines, and developments. Remember, too, those that continue to be concerned about whether people working for processors or fishermen that are coming in know what's going on. Everybody has to work under one of these state plans and local plans. And both of those involve the employer, whether it's somebody self-employed or working for someone else. There are a few layers of requirement that everybody signs off on, having read what the rules are, knowing the social distancing, now knowing about the mask requirement. All of that is built into these documents. And you can learn about that, again, by going to the city's new COVID site. Radio updates. We get to do those weekdays on the KLAM and the Eagle with frequently asked questions and answers, as well as pertinent local, state, and federal updates on COVID-19 status and planning. You can hear those here on the air, 1 p.m. hour, 5 p.m. hour, 8 p.m. hour, and then they're all archived at youtube.com/Cordova TV. A reminder again about the live community updates. The city COVID-19 public information team will be hosting a new live stream community update every Tuesday at 4 p.m., in addition to the weekly briefing on Friday at 4 p.m. The broadcast featuring reports and guest commentary from community and business partners, industry and medical professionals, and response collaborators will be streamed live to the city's YouTube channel and shared on the Cordova Prepared Facebook page. We may make those a regular part of a Wednesday talk show as well. We'll kind of see how that evolves. Just to, not to substitute from you getting it from their website or their archive. It's not about trying to compete with them with, who's the better information service? We just want to make sure that we spread this information around as much as possible. So we may supplement what the city is doing with our assets. And then this news release also mentions the infographics, a lot of which, by the way, we've turned into PSAs here on the radio. But these infographics on the city's website have been developed by the team on a lot of topics, intended to present information quickly and clearly, targeted to different user groups and areas of interest. You can find them on the city website and on the Facebook page. And again, we're making radio versions of those as quickly as we can. I think we've got about 16 of them rotating now on the air. Finally, in the news release, the incident management team, which collaborates with our medical professionals and emergency management teams around the state, feel that the curve has been flatter in Alaska and virus incidence has been fairly low because of the social distancing and other steps that the tribes, governments, businesses, organizations, and individuals have put into place to protect themselves and the community. We cannot emphasize enough how critical it is to continue these practices. So let's do our part and practice the CDC guidance to keep Cordova free of COVID-19 for as long as possible. Please take every precaution to care for yourself and your loved ones. Updates will be posted regularly to covid19.cityofcordova.net. And remember, if you have any questions for the incident management team, and those are, again, that's all our best experts, send your email to cordovaprepared@yahoo.com. That's still a big address to keep in mind, cordovaprepared@yahoo.com. Now, we're going to conclude here with an overview of some state-level stuff that came out, because as I'm sure you know if you watch state or national news at all, there has been consideration of trying to get some of the businesses back open in a limited capacity with some new rules in place. Now, of course, again, if you watch the national coverage, which I can't even stomach, I don't even watch it anymore. It's so dumb what's being flown back and forth between particularly political extremes, where you've got one side saying, the virus isn't any more dangerous than the flu. Let's all go back to normal and just open everything up wide, to other people that say, if it saves one life, keep the whole country shut down. You know, it's just nonsense. Nobody wants to try to find a way to meet in the middle. Alaska, and opinions will vary, but Alaska does seem to be trying to find some middle ground in that regard. And yesterday in the state press briefing, the officials talked about some of that some restaurants will soon be able to offer limited dine-in service, retail stores with limited in-store shopping. Now, that's if they want to. They don't have to. And it may be that cities can impose stronger restrictions than what the state does. In fact, Dunleavy, I'm pretty sure, talked about that this state guidance this is a situation where state guidance could be tightened by local governments and then, of course, local businesses. If somebody owns a restaurant or owns a retail store, doesn't feel like it's a smart idea to have people come in and they want to keep their doors shut, they can. Each individual business can choose what it wants to do. But if a business wants to be a little bit more open, the state is moving in that direction a little bit. But again, with reduced capacity, and workers in most all these places are expected to be utilizing face masks and gloves. But the idea is that certain non-essential services may be able to slowly start opening with limited capacity and adjusted requirements as soon as Friday. While the mandate for a 14-day quarantine for anyone coming out of state has been extended to May 19th, remember that was up for review yesterday, and they have extended that now to May 19th for out-of-state travel. And the social distancing and intrastate travel limit mandates are in place until rescinded. Notwithstanding those, there will be 5 phases, according to the governor, to the economic opening. Dunleavy said the state will always put health first and added that the state will pull back on the rollout of the reopening plan if a spike in coronavirus cases is identified. So if they try to open up business a little bit and people mess it up by, again, not social distancing, not following the rules, not wearing masks, whatever, and the cases start to escalate, they're going to pull back and shut everything down again. Which, again, to me seems like a balance point. Try a little bit. If people can make it work, great. If not, nope, going to shut back down. State officials released some of the details of the plan yesterday. Phase 1 includes most non-essential businesses. DHSS Commissioner Adam Crum said that in this phase, many of these businesses will be allowed to reopen with about 25% capacity. Entertainment outlets like bars, theaters, bingo halls, that kind of thing, will remain closed through Phase 1. As far as restaurants, takeout dining will still be encouraged, but restaurants would be able to have 25% capacity with dine-in, where household parties can be at the same table with 10 feet between tables, is what they want to try. So you can't go out, and you would not be able to go to a restaurant under this and eat with people that live in a different location from you. Mom, dad, and kids all living in the exact same home would be able to sit together. But if you have, say, even a situation where maybe mom has custody of the kids and dad lives somewhere else, that family would not be allowed to get together. Even if you're related, it's only people in the exact same household that would be able to dine in under this rule. Personal care services like hair salons, tattoo parlors, piercing parlors would have the opportunity to reopen as long as there's only one provider serving one client at a time, working by appointment only, no walk-ins, and abiding by sanitation protocols. So again, a slow, measured approach. See how it works. If it works, great. If not, get shut back down. They said down the road, indoor activities will still be banned for gyms, but outdoor activities will be allowed as long as social distancing can be employed. And changes under some of the mandates are also underway, like an adjustment to Health Mandate 11 would allow for religious gatherings, weddings, and other events as long as there are 20 or fewer people in attendance. Now, again, that's coming. That hasn't been this. What they're talking about here is what they're planning. None of this state stuff is effective immediately. It's what's coming. So they'll issue specific mandates or revisions to mandates as these things become allowed. Dunleavy, in reaction to all this, said, quote, "It's not that we're celebrating. It's just that we're cautiously optimistic. We thought our numbers would be much higher, that hundreds of thousands of Alaskans would be affected. And we knew we would have two disasters at the same time. One was going to be the pandemic, and one would be an economic disaster at the same time," end quote. Dunleavy said the state is feeling confident and will watch cases closely and daily, and that officials would make decisions on phases within 2 weeks. Quoting again from Dunleavy, "For those chomping at the bit to get stores and services open, we're heading that way, and for those that are concerned, and rightfully so, we can assure you we're going to continue to use the best practices and use the data." And I want to credit, by the way, KTUU for some of this summary information that we've been looking over on what happened with the state, and you can read their story on their website, KTUU.com. Again, the city news release we covered is the April 21st edition, news release number 20. And then the audio we heard from the city manager came from the city's briefing that was held yesterday afternoon at 4. And you can see that on their YouTube channel. I don't know if we put it on ours or not. So it might be at youtube.com/Cordova TV. It's definitely at the City of Cordova's YouTube channel, which you can access by going to their website, and then there's a link right there if you don't have it bookmarked. And with that, we will close this program. Daily briefings still to come on KLAM and KCDV in the 1 p.m., 5 p.m., and 8 p.m. hours. This show, if you missed any of it or want to hear it again or want to share it with anybody, will be archived on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Cordova TV. Remember, if you subscribe to that channel and click the notification bell, neither of which costs you anything, it's all free. But if you subscribe and click the notification bell, then YouTube apparently can tell you anytime we post a new video, and you'll know immediately, faster than I'd be able to tell you on the radio. So if you want to do that, feel free to do so. Today at noon is that joint meeting between the city and the tribal council, and then they'll have their special meeting, which I presume will have public comment. I don't remember. I don't have the agenda in front of me, but special meetings pretty much always do. So it'll be interesting to hear what folks have to say. That all starts at noon on the city's YouTube channel. I think we're going to capture that and put it on ours as well. I'd have to check with Robbie to be sure, but I'm like 95% certain. But if you want to see it live and participate, absolutely watch it through the city's YouTube channel. And you can go to cityofcordova.net and find the link to it. That brand new city website, another good asset for you. COVID19.cityofcordova.net. Or if you don't want to remember the COVID-19 part, you can just go to cityofcordova.net and there's a button you can click. Either one. I haven't had a chance to look at it in extreme depth. Oh, there's a faux pas. I haven't had a chance to look at it in extreme depth. But what I've seen looks very good. So I hope you'll check it out. And our show is brought to you by Cordova Wireless Communications. Very valuable service that they help us to provide in these pandemic times. Thanks for listening. And we will see you next time that it's time for a town meeting program on KLAM.